Mateus gripped the thick, pulsing coil of the anaconda, his muscles screaming under the jungle's relentless humidity. The black jaguar beneath it thrashed wildly, its obsidian fur slick with dew and strain, emerald eyes locked on him in a mix of fury and desperation. Vines snapped around them as he yanked inch by inch, prying the serpent's body away from the cat's throat. One slip, and those fangs would sink deeper. He couldn't let that happen, not after hearing the muffled roar echoing through the canopy at dawn. Sweat poured into his eyes, blurring the world of tangled roots and mist-shrouded ferns. Mateus, a wiry guide from Manaus with calloused hands scarred by years of river runs, had ventured too deep into the Amazon this morning, chasing a hunch about rare pelts for a shady buyer. No, he shoved that thought down. This jaguar, sleek and mythical in its darkness, deserved better than his old mistakes. The snake's scales rasped against his arms like sandpaper, its weight crushing his ribs. He twisted, leveraging a low branch for pull. If you're gripped by this jungle showdown, hit that the anaconda's head reared back, jaws unhinging in silent threat. But Mateus drove his machete's blunt edge into its underbelly, not to harm, just to loosen the grip. The jaguar exploded free, a blur of shadow leaping onto a buttress root 10 feet up. It perched there, chest heaving, staring down with unblinking intensity. Mateus collapsed against a kapok trunk, gasping, the python slithering into the underbrush like a defeated river spirit. His heart hammered. Why had he risked it? Poachers whispered of black jaguars fetching fortunes on the black market. But this one, it watched him like it knew his soul's cracks. He'd come here fleeing debts back in the city, smuggling trinkets up the Rio Negro to pay off loan sharks. But the jungle had a way of rewriting men. Last week, he ditched a deal after seeing a cub orphaned by his own crew's traps. Now this. Wiping mud from his face, Mateus scanned the gloom. Bird calls pierced the steam, harpy eagles overhead, howler monkeys distant. Safe for now. The jaguar didn't flee. It paced the branch, tail flicking, then vanished into the leaves with a rustle. Pushing up, he shouldered his pack and pressed on, the encounter gnawing at him. By midday, thirst clawed his throat. He knelt at a stream, filtering water through cloth, when a low growl froze him. Not one, multiple. Shadows shifted along the far bank. 5 black jaguars emerged from the ferns, identical in their midnight sheen, moving as one fluid pack. Impossible. Melanistic ones were loners, myths even among locals, yet here they were encircling him without a sound. Mateus's pulse spiked. He backed toward a fallen log, machete half drawn. The lead one, the one he'd freed, stepped forward, nostrils flaring, no charge, no baring teeth. It sniffed the air, then dropped something at his feet, a fresh capybara haunch steaming in the heat. The others fanned out, eyes glowing like embers in twilight. Hunger twisted his gut, but trust, that was a fool's game in the Amazon. He didn't touch it. Instead, he spoke in low Portuguese, words tumbling out. Obrigado, amigos, mas eu não sou presa. The lead tilted its head, almost listening, before they melted back into the green wall. Mateus waited an hour, pulse steadying, before grabbing the offering and retreating to higher ground. That night, under a tarp strung between trees, he roasted the meat over a smokeless fire. Flavors exploded, wild, rich. Sleep came uneasy, dreams of coils and glowing eyes. Dawn broke with thunderous rain, turning paths to rivers. Mateus trekked toward his canoe, but the jungle felt alive, watching. Mid-morning, rustling flanked him. The 5 appeared again, shadowing from the canopy, not hunting, guiding. He shook it off as delirium from feverish heat. Yet they matched his pace, leaping fallen giants, vanishing when he glanced back. By noon, trouble brewed, voices ahead, rough accents, chainsaws whining, loggers, illegal ones, clearing swathes for soy barons. Mateus knew their type, armed, ruthless. He ducked into ferns as 3 men in muddied boots stomped past, rifles slung, laughing about quotas. One kicked a sapling. Mais Madeira, my dinero! The Jaguars? Gone. Mateus exhaled, slipping away, but as he neared the river, shots cracked the air. Shouts erupted. He froze. Peering back, he saw chaos, the loggers scrambling, faces pale, shadows darted, sleek forms leaping from trees, scattering gear, herding the men toward a ravine. No contact, just precision pandemonium. One logger fired wildly, bullets chewing leaves. The pack vanished, silent as ghosts. Mateus bolted to his canoe, shoving off into the current. Behind, engines revved in panic. Safe on the water, he glanced shoreward. The 5 Jaguars lined the bank, staring. The lead one dipped its head once before they turned inland. Unbelievable, not saviors, not pets. Something primal, a debt repaid in jungle lore. Paddling hard, Mateus's mind raced. Word of this could end his guiding days or start new ones. No black market now. Just questions burning hotter than the equatorial sun. What bound them, and why him? The river widened, carrying him homeward. But the Amazon's secrets clung like mist. Those eyes haunted him already. Raphael gripped the canoe's edge, sweat beading on his forehead despite the cooling dusk. The current pushed him past overhanging vines thick as ropes, their shadows twisting like living things. He glanced back, half expecting those golden eyes to pierce the gloom again. Nothing, just the lap of water against wood. Ohm emerged from the mist, a cluster of thatched huts on stilts, smoke curling from a fire pit. His sister Anna waved from the dock, her silhouette sharp against the lantern glow. Raphael, late again, fish biting today. He tied off the canoe, legs unsteady as he climbed ashore. Enough, but strange day. He unloaded the catch, avoiding her eyes. Anna's brow furrowed, but she busied herself with the nets. Dinner was manioc and grilled piranha, the family chatter filling the air with talk of rising water levels and distant chainsaw hums from loggers upstream. Night fell fast, stars punching through the canopy like scattered diamonds. Raphael lay on his hammock, the hut creaking under mosquito net. Sleep wouldn't come. Those eyes. 5 pairs, unblinking, watching from the bank as the rescued Jaguar vanished into the underbrush. Why hadn't they attacked? Predators didn't gather like that. He rolled, the weave biting into his back. A low rumble shook the stilts. Raphael bolted upright. Outside, the dogs whimpered, tails tucked. He grabbed his machete, heart slamming, peered through the slats. Moonlight silvered the riverbank. There, shadows shifting. Not one. 5 sleek forms, black as midnight oil, padding silently along the water's edge. They paused, heads turning toward his hut, eyes locked on him, gold, piercing. He froze, breath shallow. They didn't advance, just watched. Minutes stretched. Then, as one, they melted into the forest, gone like whispers. Morning brought humidity thick as soup. Raphael shook off the chill, told himself jungle fever, headed out to check traps, Anna calling after him to watch for snakes. The path wound through ferns shoulder high, air heavy with orchid scent and rot. Birds screeched warnings overhead. If you're gripped by this Amazon mystery, hit that he reached the first trap, empty. Second, too. Frustration gnawed. Then a glint caught his eye. Not his. Deeper in, where lianas draped like curtains. He hacked through, machete singing. There, in a clearing he'd never seen, lay a sight that stopped his pulse. Piles of smooth riverstones, arranged in perfect circles. At the center, 5 fresh caimans, skinned clean, meat untouched, laid out like offerings. No blood trails, no struggle marks. Just provided. Around them, paw prints, massive. Black jaguar prints circling inward. Raphael's knees buckled. He touched a flank, still warm. Hunger twisted in his gut, but fear overrode it. These weren't random kills. They were delivered to him. Back at the hut, Anna stared at the load he dragged in. "Where'd you find these? Storm washed them up." "No storm. His voice cracked. "The cats, the black ones, they left them." She laughed, sharp. "Febridu Rio talking. Eat something." But that night the rumbles returned, closer. Raphael stood guard, machete ready. The five emerged from the tree line, bolder now. They flanked the dock, muscles rippling under glossy fur. The lead one, the one he'd saved, approached, nostrils flaring. It dropped something at his feet, a leather pouch, ancient, stitched with jaguar teeth, heavy. Inside, nuggets glinting like fool's gold. Not gold, something rarer. Jaguar teeth, no. Polished emeralds, fist-sized, flawless. His mind reeled. Legends whispered by elders, the Yara's guardians, black spirits of the river, rewarding those who honored the wild. But this? Real. Tangible. The Jaguars held position, eyes expectant. Raphael knelt, pouch in hand. The lead nudged his arm, gentle as a breeze. Then they turned, vanishing into mist. But not before he saw it, their path leading upstream toward the forbidden rapids where no one fished. Dawn broke with Anna pounding his door. "Poachers! Chainsaws closing in!" Smoke rose distant, acrid. Loggers armed, claiming land. Raphael clutched the pouch. Wealth like this could buy the village time, bribes, lawyers. But the Jaguar's gaze burned in memory. A pact. He launched the canoe, poling hard against the current. Rapids roared ahead, white foam churning, no turning back. The forest thickened, vines clawing. Then growls echoed. The five burst from the banks, leaping fallen logs, herding him forward. Branches snapped, they cleared paths he couldn't see. One misstep, his canoe scraped rocks, spinning wild. Water surged. Raphael lunged for paddle. A jaguar bounded onto a root, massive paw swatting the hull steady. Another flanked, eyes fierce. They guided him through, bodies shielding from undertow. The rapids spat him into a hidden lagoon. Crystal water lapped black sand. There a cave mouth yawned, guarded by roots like serpents. The jaguars entered first, tails high. Raphael followed, pulse thunderous. Inside, bioluminescent fungi glowed, walls etched with ancient glyphs. Jaguar men, rivers of green fire. At the heart, a trove. Emeralds stacked like cordwood, gold artifacts, untouched for centuries. The unbelievable truth. The five weren't wild. They were sentinels, protectors of this secret, binding him now as their chosen. But shouts pierced the air, poachers' voices. Closing fast. Engines growled on the river. The jaguars wheeled, fur bristling. Raphael gripped his machete. The bond tightened. Fight or flee. The eyes demanded choice. He stepped forward, pouch heavy in pocket. The pack fell in beside him, shadows merging. Whatever came next, he wasn't alone. The Amazon had claimed him. The undergrowth clawed at his boots. 5 pairs of golden eyes flanked him, unblinking. Ahead, the river's edge gleamed under moonlight, but the eyes across the water weren't jaguar. Larger, hungrier. A low rumble vibrated the air. Anaconda territory. Legends whispered of serpents thick as thighs, coils that crushed canoes to splinters. He gripped the pouch tighter. Inside, remnants of the jaguar's feast, dried fish from his last village stop. Not much, but trust built on scraps. The lead jaguar, the one he'd freed from that python's embrace days ago, brushed against his leg. Its coat absorbed the night, a void with claws. Rustle, water splashed. The rival eyes advanced, 3 massive anacondas, scales glinting like wet obsidian. Scouts for something bigger, the pack tensed, muscles rippled under fur. He scanned the bank. No canoe, no escape. Fight meant fangs and fists against coils that never tired. If you're glued to this edge of your seat tail from the heart of the Amazon, smash that. The first anaconda lunged from the shallows, jaws unhinging. He dove left, pouch spilling fish onto mud. The jaguars exploded into motion, short bursts, slash, retreat. The serpent's head snapped back, scarred but whole. It coiled for another strike. He scrambled up, heart pounding like tribal drums. Grabbed a branch, Heavy, thorned, swung hard, thwack, scales split. But the thing thrashed on. Second snake slithered in from the flank. The scarred jaguar met it head on. Claws raked, fangs sank. A whirlwind of black and green. The other four circled, herding the third away from him. Precision, like they'd planned it. He hadn't taught them that. The Amazon had. He backed toward a fallen log, breath ragged. The lead anaconda reared, eyes locking on his. 20 feet of muscle. It struck. He rolled, missed by inches. The jaguars piled on, 5 shadows converging, growls mixed with hisses. The serpent bucked, flinging one cat into the water. Splash! It surfaced, shaking, uninjured. Pouch empty now, fish scattered. He snatched a rock, hurled it. Crack! Distraction bought seconds. The pack tore at flanks, avoiding the killing head. Blood, dark essence, seeped into the river. The anaconda slowed, coils loosening, but the eyes across the water multiplied. More shadows stirred. The mother, queen of the bend. He whistled sharp, mimicking bird calls he'd learned from river folk. The jaguars broke off, regrouping at his side. The wounded snake retreated, dragging itself into depths. Victory? No. The water boiled. Massive ripples. The queen emerged, 40 feet, a living rope, jaws wide enough to swallow a man whole. Panic clawed his gut. Run? The pack wouldn't leave. They chose him. He planted feet, branch raised. The jaguars fanned out, a semicircle of midnight fury. The queen surged, half her length airborne. He swung, connected, but it barely flinched. Then unbelievable. The 5 jaguars didn't charge blindly. They synchronized. The scarred one leaped first, onto the queen's back, claws embedding. Number 2 flanked left, slashing underbelly. 3 and 4 dove low, hamstringing coils. 5, the smallest, quickest, went for the eyes. Chaos. The queen whipped, sending trees splintering. He dodged debris, circling. The pack held. Leaps timed to perfection. Bite, release, regroup like soldiers under command. His command? No. Deeper bond. The one he'd saved led them now. Black phantoms dismantling a titan. The queen faltered. A coil slammed earth, missing him by a breath. He struck again, branch shattering on skull. Dark ichor sprayed. The jaguars pressed. Scarred leader sank fangs into throat flesh. The others pinned. Thrashing weakened. Finally stillness. The river claimed her remnants. Silence crashed in. Chest heaving, he dropped to knees. The pack gathered, fur matted, eyes glowing triumph. They nuzzled him, not pets, equals. The pouch lay empty nearby, no food left. Dawn crept, mist rising, but the river whispered warnings. More serpents stirred downstream, echoes of the queen's kin. He rose, scanning. The jaguars flanked tighter. Pouch retrieved, useless now. They moved as one, deeper into green hell. Hours blurred, vines tangled paths. Humidity choked. A village smoke trail beckoned. Yanomami outpost, maybe. Safety, illusion. Outsiders brought trouble. He halted at the tree line, huts on stilts, fires flickering, voices in Tucano dialect. The pack melted into shadows, watching. He stepped forward alone. Elder emerged, face etched like bark. Estrangero, what spirits follow? He glanced back. Golden eyes winked from dark. Friends, he said, saved me. I saved one first. Elder squinted. Jaguars? Black ones? Omens? Nod. No more words needed. They offered Cayman's stew. He ate, pouch refilled with dried meats. Pack unseen, but felt. Night fell. Drums started. Ritual beat. He slipped out, rejoining shadows. Deeper jungle called. Whispers of lost ruins. Gold idols. Curses. The jaguars knew paths men forgot. Tension coiled anew. What lay ahead? Allies or trap? Midnight. Howls distant. Not pack. Territorial challenge. 5 blacks rose. Hackles up. He clutched new pouch. Eyes everywhere now. Jaguar eyes. Serpent eyes. His. They pressed on. River forked. Treacherous currents. Bridge of roots. One jaguar tested, held. They crossed, him in middle. Halfway, tremor. Earth shifted. Ancient sinkhole yawned. Fall. He grabbed root. Jaguars leaped, claws hooking his shirt. Pulled, muscles strained. 4 anchored the 5th, inch by inch. Up, safe, gasps. Unbelievable strength. Bond unbreakable. Sinkhole sealed behind. Dawn's light pierced canopy. Clearing ahead. Massive stone head Mayan echo? No. Older, Olmec whispers. Carved jaguar, black stone, eyes rubies. Pack circled it. He touched. Warm. Pulse. Vision hit. Flashes. Ancient pact. Men and shadows as one. Against floods, beasts, invaders. Reality snapped back. Rubies gleamed. Pack stared. Destiny. But shouts echoed. Poachers. Loggers. Chainsaws growled. Intrusion. Pack tensed. He nodded. Whatever came, united. The Amazon watched, claimed fully now. Shouts pierced the humid veil. Men burst from the undergrowth, rifles slung low, machetes hacking vines. 5 in total, faces smeared with sweat and grime, eyes hungry for profit. Loggers, by the chainsaws strapped to their packs, blades still humming from fresh cuts, or poachers. Drawn by whispers of rare pelts in these depths. Didn't matter. They scanned the clearing, boots crunching leaves. Juan crouched beside the Alpha, the black jaguar he'd pulled from the python's coils days ago. 5 shadows flanked them now, sleek, muscled forms with eyes like polished obsidian. The pack, rubies no longer gleamed in threat. They burned with purpose. Juan's heart hammered. His hands, scarred from years of guiding tourists too deep into the forest, clenched around a makeshift spear, branch whittled sharp. The leader of the intruders barked in Portuguese, voice gravelly. "Olha aí, pegamos gato preto vivo, isso vale ouro." Laughter rippled among them. They fanned out, encircling the glade. Chainsaws revved louder, a mechanical roar drowning birdsong. One man raised his rifle, squinting at the shadows. Juan whispered to the Alpha, breath shallow, "Eles vêm por vocês, fiquem atrás." But the jaguar didn't flinch. It rose, low growl vibrating through Juan's bones. The pack mirrored, silent sentinels. Tension coiled like vines overhead. If you're gripped by this tale from the heart of the Amazon, hit that the first poacher stepped forward, machete swinging lazily. "Sai da frente, índio, isso não é teu." Juan stood, spear leveled, no retreat. The forest had claimed him after his wife's passing, years of wandering these trails, seeking solace in the green cathedral. Saving the jaguar had been instinct, not heroism. Now this pack saw him as kin, united. A blur erupted. The Alpha lunged, not at the man but the rifle. Jaws clamped the barrel, wrenching it skyward with a crack of splintered wood. The poacher yelped, stumbling back. Chaos bloomed. The other 4 jaguars surged as one, a black tide. One feinted left, scattering 2 men into the ferns. Another circled right, herding the chainsaw bearer toward the river's edge. Juan moved with them, spear thrusting low to trip a fumbling intruder. No strikes drawn, just pressure, relentless. The pack's coordination stunned him, flanks weaving, eyes locked on weaknesses. They'd watched him, learned his cautious steps from the python encounter. Now they amplified it. The leader swung his machete wildly. "Malditos bichos!" But the Alpha released the rifle, pivoted, and shouldered him off balance. He tumbled into roots, rifle skittering away. The pack pressed. Growls deepened, not savage but commanding. Men froze, breaths ragged. Chainsaws sputtered silent as hands shook. One poacher bolted first, crashing through brush. Then another, abandoning gear. The leader scrambled up, eyes wide. "Vai! Esquece isso!" They fled, echoes fading into the canopy. Silence returned. Birds resumed. The pack circled Juan, nuzzling his legs, tongues rasping salt from his skin. He sank to his knees, spear dropping. Exhaustion hit like rain. The Alpha met his gaze. Destiny sealed in that stare. No longer man and beasts, equals. Days blurred. Juan guided the pack deeper, away from trails. He marked maps in his mind, steering clear of logging roads he'd once ignored. The jaguars hunted seamlessly, sharing kills at dawn. One evening, under a canopy pierced by fireflies, the youngest cub, barely weaned, curled against his side. Warmth spread. For the first time since loss hollowed him, purpose filled the void. Word spread in villages. A ghost man with black guardians. Rangers came, but João vanished them into mist. He dismantled poacher camps at night, scattering tools into rivers. The pack grew bolder, patrolling borders. 5 Jaguars, 1 man, unbreakable. Months later, atop a ridge overlooking scarred clearings, João watched regrowth sprout. The Alpha stood sentinel. Below, chainsaws echoed faintly, pushed back, not gone. But here, they held ground. João smiled faintly. The Amazon didn't forgive, it tested. He'd passed. The pack turned as one, vanishing into emerald shadows. He followed. Home waited. The unbelievable. Not the save or the stand. It was belonging, man to pack, pack to man. The jungle's true rhythm. If this wild saga from Brazil's untamed depths left you breathless, smash.